Hi everybody, welcome to this Christmas season special yoga practice. This is a class designed to iron out a few of the kinks in the body if we've been maybe stressed or running around or not doing much in the season between Christmas and New Year, the winter as well. And you can use this space to do any practice that you would like, or follow me and I will guide you through something quite gentle, quite reflective, and it will be wonderful. You may want to have a bolster, cushion, pillow, something nice and cozy to snuggle into. And we'll also perhaps need a towel, it doesn't have to be a big one, that we're going to roll up. And if you do have a blanket to keep warm and cozy, you may want to have a blanket as well for the practice, depending on where you are in the world and how warm or cold it might be for you. And I will meet you on the mat in a comfortable seated position in just a moment. So arriving in a comfortable seated position, however that might be for your body, and maybe closing down the eyes or softening the gaze. Let's just take a moment to settle, to arrive. There may have been quite a lot of excitement recently. There may just been a lot of stuff to do or not do. And we just want to take this moment to contemplate ourselves being present in this moment. We don't have to think of where we've been or where we're going, but we can take that pause button and be right here. And this is what our practice is going to be about today, the contemplation of this moment, what we feel and experience in this moment. And this moment will keep evolving and changing and growing. For the next hour together. So what can you feel in this moment within your body? Noticing perhaps your breathing. Physical sensations that might arise, tingles, vibrations, itches, and without having to change anything at all, we observe. What can you feel in your body in this moment? Let's take a moment to acknowledge our thoughts. Are there any thoughts that are present in the moments that are passing? Maybe when we draw our attention to our thoughts, there is more clarity, more stillness. Maybe we haven't really observed our thinking pattern over the last few days or even the last few weeks or months. Maybe it's a nice space just to arrive to acknowledge your thoughts. Creating space to contemplate thinking without having to analyze or judge. And then making a little awareness about the emotions that might be present right here. There may be many. There may be mixed emotions. There may be strong ones, gentle ones. What can you feel connected to in this moment emotionally? And allow that feeling of emotions to rise up into your awareness just gently, without having to judge or worry about what you might be feeling. And then finally, we're just going to begin to explore the energy that is present in this moment. And depending on your experience of how you work with energy, you can work simply in its form of lots of energy, little energy, or starting to work a little bit more with the diversity of energy, if that's something you practice, more thinking of the chakras, the energy within your body, in all the different layers of who you are. So your own take on your energy is welcome in this space. And we're going to take one long, slow breath together, breathing in through the nose for 3, 2, 1, and out through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. If your eyes are closed or your gaze is focused, you can blink the eyes open and arrive back into the space together. So we're going to begin our session with deciding which part of your body you would like to move. And be playful, be slow, be fast. This is your practice. I can't guide you through everything. I can try. But really you're going to know how your body is feeling when you start to move. Maybe this is the first time today you've actually said to your body, what do you need? And you've gone, oh, okay, I need this. I didn't even realize I needed that. Maybe you are aware of a certain pain or agitation in your physical body. And this gives you that permission to explore it gently, or maybe even to allow it to not be explored and work with other areas of your body that don't feel pain. So moving freely is a gift. It can feel like a curse. I want to be guided. I don't want to have to think. There's plenty of that coming, so don't worry. But just allow your body to speak and gift it what it might need as it tells you. And you'll only discover that through movement sometimes. You might think, I don't know what needs to be moved. And by moving your body, you're like, oh, my neck's stiff. Or actually my spine feels really, really tired. And just take a couple more breaths, a few more movements, and explore. You can close your eyes. Don't worry if you feel silly. We're working with the emotional body too. Or if it feels really, really joyful. Like, oh my gosh, yeah, I get to move. And then come back to some stillness. Take a position where you would like to be still, and that can be lying down if you think, actually, I'd like to lie down now. We're going to come there anyway in a moment. So come to a place where you can be still to contemplate the movement. What did you free up, or what did you expose as you started to move your body? And we can look through the different layers of our being. Oh, I exposes a thought pattern, or an emotional kind of experience, or I may have actually just begun to awaken my senses by moving. We'll take another breath. Let's inhale together. Exhale together. And then making our way onto our backs. If you have anything underneath your sit bones, just slide that off to the side. Coming into constructive rest pose. Oh, like one of my favorite positions ever. So lying on your back, feet grounded, hands can go where they were most comfortable, and allow your body to settle into the earth. And just keep breathing nice and slowly, allowing the tummy to move as you breathe. And if you've perhaps been sitting around, not doing very much with your time, it might feel nice just to encourage the breath to move to help the digestive system. We've got a nice supported neutral spine here, so your back might begin to ease simply by lying in this position. What a wonderful place to do absolutely nothing. But still have that awareness of contemplating what you're feeling, and we can look at this physically, mentally, emotionally and energetically. You can pick one or all four, or you might just notice as these things arise in this moment, whether they are thoughts, feelings, sensations, or awareness of energy. Now we'll start to let the knees rock from left to right in our windscreen wipers. And we can also use angel arms. Imagine we're in the snow. I wish. It's snowing in other parts of the world, just not here in the UK. So as you move the arms up and down, like we're creating angels in the snow, you can also let the legs go from left to right, releasing the spine. You can let your head move around if that feels nice, allowing there to be a little bit of space for creative exploration in your body, but also working with a little bit of routine coming from me. So I'm guiding you through the next about 45 minutes. Keep checking in with your body. If you need to make any variations in poses, then please do. Everything I do is a suggestion. It doesn't have to be a demand. So let's take one more little windscreen wipe to the left and we'll pause it there and then roll into a little fetal position. So maybe the arm, or you might want your bolster or a pillow, goes underneath the head, and you can just tuck in into a little fetal pose and breathe slowly. It's a wonderful time of the year to relax, to actually give ourselves the permission to slow down. The Christmas season is that time that most of us will at least have a few days to rest. So we need to build that into our routine. Let's allow ourselves to rest. And it gives us the space to contemplate all of the other things happening within our bodies that often will get overlooked when we're too busy planning everything else. And if it's stressful listening and checking in with your body, you can always use your imagination. You can take your mind somewhere wonderful. Or you can ground yourself by focusing on areas of your body that feel connected to the earth and bring you right into this moment. So we don't always have to look at the things that might feel difficult or challenging. We get the choice to pick the things in our practice that we would like to observe in the moment. So from this lovely fetal pose, if you have a pillow under your head, you may want to keep it there. If your arm is your pillow, maybe bring it out to the side in front of your chest. And we'll start to take a little twist. So we can slide the right arm away and then twist open the right arm to the right side. And you can keep this moving a few times. So maybe making circles with that arm. Allowing there to be a space for your body to stretch and experience sensation through movement. Also letting your head roll around, massaging the skull into the earth. We'll take maybe one more moving twist and then pause when you get into that reclined twist variation, maybe reaching the left arm a little further to the left side and allowing the body to just open and expand. If you find this right shoulder floats, mine does, it's absolutely fine. We don't need to encourage the shoulder to come down to the floor and adjust the hips. Maybe see if you can keep the hips stacked, sacrum straight and supported, and then just get the stretch across the pectoral muscles, the shoulder blade, and breathe. Feeling your body opening where it might be tight, relaxing where it doesn't need to support or do anything at all. And then start to just become aware of things that rise up in the present moment. You might catch yourself drifting off into thought, or a story, or emotion, or really, really focusing on sensation. There's nothing wrong with this. We're just going to observe that we do that. Where does our mind take us? Where do we focus our attention? Can we become aware of where we focus our attention? Does it dart all over the place? Is there one constant area that we tend to acknowledge when we're practicing yoga? We'll take another breath in this twist. And then encourage yourself to come back first into that little fetal space and then roll on the back. Legs are going to go straight up to the sky. Arms are going to go up to the sky. Now you do not have to have straight legs here, ever. You can have bent knees. Maybe just wiggle the toes or shake the hands, shake the legs. If this feels really, really hard for your body due to really tight hamstrings, just bend your knees in. Or you can also place maybe the hands underneath the sacrum to alleviate some of the pressure and do the legs first, and then release the feet and do the arms. We always forget to elevate the arms, just allowing the lymphatic system to shift a little bit, especially if we've been quite stagnant for a few days. Or if not, maybe we've done lots of stuff, it's still good to keep everything moving, shifting through the body. And then just let everything float. Your legs, your arms, just float. You can soften the fists, the feet. Maybe close your eyes and just feel this experience in your body. What do you notice rising up in this present moment? And it will keep changing. Things will keep appearing. Feelings, thoughts, sensations, your energy levels. What appears that we can acknowledge with our awareness? And if you're faced with resistance, I don't really want to not acknowledge anything, I'm tired, that is what's appearing, and that's also okay. But remember, we can choose areas to focus on. If we start to get any overwhelm of sensation, we can change the position. We are in control of this to a certain degree. Now very slowly, bend the knees and ground the soles of the feet into the floor, wherever they want to go. And we'll lift the hips up, maybe by peeling through the spine, and you can float the arms up and over the head. Now, if you would prefer to make this bridge pose strong and active, pushing down to the floor, maybe floating the hands above the earth and reaching backwards, you can. If you would like to make this maybe more of a moving bridge, you can roll back down through the spine. Arms can come back up and then roll back up with the hips. You can make this a moving bridge position. Decide where you would like to take your body, and you can change your mind. You might think stillness feels great, and then you're like, actually, I'm quite tired. We don't always have to make the perfect choice. This is why yoga is a practice. We get to play, adjust, change, evolve. We get to contemplate all of the movements we're making in each moment, gently. Now, whichever position you're in, whether you're holding the pose or whether you're moving, we're then going to start to lower everything back down to the earth. Feet can go as wide as they want, and we can come back to our windscreen wipers with our angel arms. Flying the arms up and down if this feels nice. You can feel the space around you. Love that our palms, our hands, can connect to so much sensation. It's really amazing that we can feel so much physically in the space around us with just the tips of our fingers. So we don't just have to look at our bodies, we can also explore our environment. Let's take another breath. And we're going to drop our knees to the right side and roll into that fetal position to the right side. So maybe your arm, your right bicep becomes a pillow for your head. You might want to slide a pillow or a blanket underneath the head. And just take a few moments here to get comfy. You've given yourself the permission here to slow down. To relax. Notice what rises up for you. Is there a thought, a sensation, an emotional response? What is happening for you energetically? And remember, you don't have to look at all of those things. There just might be one thing that rises up into your awareness. Now we'll bring the head down to the earth if our head is on our bicep or our arm. If it's on a pillow, you can leave it on the pillow. Palms can come together and we'll start to make our twisting movements, reaching the left arm away, maybe circling that left arm all the way over the head and round to the left side, letting the head follow with you. And we can make a circle all the way back to the palm. We'll just do this moving twist a few times. So allowing there to be release in the shoulder blade, the chest, feeling the thoracic spine, actually getting that chance to move. So we do this one more time, a full round, circling that shoulder, feeling where there's tension, where there's space. And then the next time we take that twist, we might just leave the left arm open and pause here. And seeing if you can keep the hips stacked rather than letting the hips drop. So it's not about getting the shoulder to the floor. Being okay with the experience in your body, and if you do need to adjust it, if you need to change the position in any way, shape or form, you can. I often find people say to me, I can't do that, Kate. And I'm like, well, maybe you should try it. And then they try it and they go, oh yeah, I can. And that's the same with so many different things. We often, our mind tells us no first. The anticipation, that future thinking, or that past experience can get in the way of us being able to do something in the present. Maybe it's just sitting with a little bit of discomfort here. Knowing it's okay that our body feels tight. It's okay to not enjoy something and still be learning and listening from the experience. Remember, if anything becomes overwhelming, you can return back to your breath. You can take your mind somewhere wonderful, or you can also just feel your body in the ground, being held and supported. So let's ease our arm back all the way to the right hand, the right arm. Take a moment in your fetal pose before we then just roll back onto the spine and let the legs go back up to the sky. We can shake the arms as well and just free up some of that lymphatic system, the blood. It feels so great for our lower backs as well. And if you do need support underneath your hips, take the support underneath your hips if it's required. I love that our bodies are all so beautifully different that actually we can kind of do what suits our bodies. It doesn't have to be this way or the highway. It can be, actually my legs don't feel comfortable like that, I'm going to do this. And that's your practice. So remember that I'm just suggesting things and I only have my body to go on. So I know what feels good for me. So we'll take a moment to pause here and just allow the arms, the legs to float. Maybe close the eyes so you take that more internal experience. There's nothing wrong with having the eyes open. In fact, it can be amazing to watch your body move. But we can kind of move between the two, closing the eyes and opening them. Observing the different senses that might rise up into our awareness. Let's enjoy one final breath here. Then as we slowly bend the knees, drop the feet into the earth. We can lift the hips up gently and gradually to the height that they want to go. Arms can float over the head, and you can either just reach the arms back. They might want to touch the floor or float. You may want to stay here in this bridge pose, or you might want to move up and down. So you can do as your body needs. Remember, we can keep coming back to that question, what do I need? And you can see if you can offer that to yourself and your experience. Not being afraid to change things. Not being afraid to actually go, this doesn't feel great for me and I want to do this. Or yeah, this feels amazing. I'm going to stay here and hold and express this pose as I need to for the next few moments. I always think what separates yoga from other forms of sport or movement is that intentional awareness that we bring in. It's not that we're not aware when we run or when we play other sports, of course we are, but there is an intentional awareness that we draw into our yoga practice that enables us to be more mindful, more creative, or more able to offer our bodies what they need. It's not that we're not practicing yoga if we aren't so mindful, because some days we just want to move our bodies. So let's slowly come out of our bridge pose, whichever variation we're in, and maybe guide the knees into the chest softly, just gently easing in. Be kind to your backs. And we might roll either side to side, or we might roll back and forward. We're going to make our way up to tabletop, so any way that works for your body. Before we do anything else though, let's grab our towel, we're going to roll it, and we're going to roll it up. So if you're working with fascia balls, it's also fine. I'm working with a towel here. Roll it up quite nice and tightly, but you don't have to roll it up the whole way. So if you just want to roll it up maybe half, That's also fine. You can adjust the towel rollage later on if you're like, this is too intense. If you've had quite a big Boxing Day dinner or something of those sorts, you might want to unroll it a little bit. It's going to be for the tummy a little bit later on. And we'll just hop that off to the side and we'll come back into our tabletop position. Now, tabletop pose is a great position for feeling grounded through all 4 limbs and then giving yourself that ability to move. And it can be cat-cows. It can just be movement. And again, it might be one of those experiences where you close your eyes and you let your body guide the movement through sensation. So the sensation is saying, move this, go there, rather than the head saying, I need to move that. You can work both ways. You might think, actually, I'm feeling quite tight emotionally across the chest and I'd like to move my chest more. So listen into what's happening in the moment for you. Remember, if you're also feeling tired or really, really anxious, or there's lots of energy bursting through your body, you can move quicker or slower, depending on the needs that you've come with today. Now, if you really would like it, you can take a downward facing dog. Maybe starting to walk out through the legs. You can stay in tabletop if you'd prefer. We're not doing much massively energetic stuff today. But just again, exploring your body's needs. And if there's a pose that I don't offer you, and you really would like to take that, then you can take that. Your yoga practice is your space to connect with your body, your mind, your thoughts, your feelings. So work with what is here in this moment today. Good. So we're going to step the right foot to the outside of the right hand into a bit of lizard lunge. And again, you might want to move in and out of this. Maybe feeling into the hamstrings. The heel gets a little bit of a massage by the earth. You might decide that you simply want to sink into this position and pause here and not move. I like a little bit of movement myself. I'm a fidget. So just allow your body to speak and pay attention. We'll take another breath in this lovely lizard position, and then we'll move back into child pose, or it can be a down dog, and stretch out the spine. Let's just step the other leg to the other side. So left foot goes to the outside of the left hand, and we can again wiggle, or we can be still. The most important thing really in this session is to pay attention to what is arising up. Remember I said, if you think, actually that's really painful, I don't want to go there today, you don't have to. Maybe there's an aspect of tiredness and stillness is really, really needed. That's wonderful. That's you listening to your body and giving yourself the permission to take what is needed. Okay, we'll step back with that left leg. I'm going to take a little puppy position, so we can walk the hands forward, maybe drop the forehead towards the earth. If you need to drop the forearms down, grabbing hold of the elbows with the hands and bring the forehead to the forearms, this is nice. You can also bring your support in if you want to bring your pillow or your bolster in, but you can equally make this a bit more movable. So if you need to wiggle the hips a bit from side to side, if you want to lift up and lower back down. Sometimes stillness can be really powerful, and sometimes we have to sit through some of the discomfort in stillness, and other times movement is essential for releasing and easing out tension.
I know there's this kind of really trendy yin yoga movement, which is great. I love yin yoga. And that like sit through the discomfort and see what's discovered there. But sometimes that's actually not what we need to be doing. It's okay to go, do you know what? I'm not really ready, or I'm not really in the mood for that particular practice today. For any reason, you can decide that movement is more important than stillness, or vice versa. Being with what's happening in your present experience and just listening in. Again, as we come forward now, we're going to take that lovely rolled up towel. Now it's going to go somewhere around the tummy. You can decide where that's going to be. So if you know you've got pain in your tummy, stomach upset or anything going on, you may not want to do this. If you're working with fascia balls, you can also place the fascia balls into the abdomen space. I'm going to go just underneath my belly button. It's kind of where I feel I want to work today. And you can wiggle the towel into the areas that feel gently nurtured by the pressure. And if you prefer to stay on your forearms into a little sphinx position, you can do so. Or you can come down all the way onto your belly. Now this might increase the intensity, so you may prefer to stay up onto the forearms. I'm going to stay up on my forearms for now. Maybe closing the eyes, or maybe softening the gaze. And you might be drawn straight to the pressure in your abdomen region. If that's where you want to go, happily go there and explore what you're feeling. If for any reason you're like, actually something else is more important I need to focus on, then let your mind go there. Keep breathing deeply, even though you might feel pressure into the abdomen. So allow the breath to still move. And if there's too much pain because of the towel, then reduce the amount that you've rolled it or remove it if you need to. I don't want you to have any more increased stress. It might be uncomfortable, so it might be like, oh, what is that digging into my stomach? But I don't want it to be painful. You know the difference. And if you're connected quite strongly, you may be able to feel your heart pulsing. Don't worry if you can't. Allow that breath to move into the belly. Let's take a final breath together and inhale and exhale. And then we can remove the towel off to the side. And if you're lying flat, we're going to bring the left knee out to the left side. And if you're on your forearms, come down to lie flat. Left knee out into a half frog position. I'm just bringing my hands underneath my head just so I don't squish the mic completely. But you can have the arms wherever they're comfortable, either in a cactus position. They can be out to the sides. And see if we can relax the hips, so it doesn't have to be an extreme hip opening position. Quite a lot of us will sleep like this at some point during our lifetime. Something relatively similar. It's great for helping release the psoas muscles. Maybe you can feel the coolness of the earth or the support of the ground. It can be quite grounding. But what do you experience? What shines through for you in this position. Remember, if your mind just drifts away, it does this. It's hard to focus all of the time. We shouldn't expect ourselves to stay fully present the entire practice. It will be a drift in, drift out sort of experience. Now we're going to come up into a supported twist. Now you can come back up onto your forearms and just lean onto your right arm. I'm going to try and make this as easily spoken as possible. I'll try and be articulate. So the left leg's going to go back and the right leg's going to go forward. So the leg that was out to the side is now going to go behind you, and the leg that was back is now going to come forward. So you're going to lift your body up, and you're technically leaning into your right sit bone, right hip. And we'll bring our pillow or our bolster or our cushion, whatever we have, next to the right hip. Now, if you prefer to work with your knees a little bit more closely together, you can bring your knees together. I quite like stretching into that front of the hip a little bit, so my leg's going to stay behind. We're going to twist so that we're coming either side with our hands of our support, and that might mean that your leg's like, oh no, it has to come further forward, that's fine. I'm going to try and drop the chest towards the center of our support, and maybe your forehead comes straight down, maybe you turn your head away from the knees, or maybe you keep your head facing the same direction as the knees. Again, just so I don't crush the mic, I'm going to bring my forehead onto my hand. And if you do need extra layers, extra support underneath your chest, your head, please take that. And then we're contemplating what we feel. That's it. Not so hard. Can be really hard. I tease. If you're tired and your body's starting to get really melty, you might notice that your focus is kind of dimming slightly, or you may find that actually you're intensifying your focus as we've been practicing it for the last 45 minutes. You may be somewhere in between that. So remember, it's an in and out experience. It's not fully aware all of the time. But we can acknowledge what starts to rise up. And what is that experience? Is it a mental experience, an emotional one, a physical one, an energetic one? Where is it located in your body? Is it located in your body? A curiosity, that awareness of changes, adaptability. These are the things we can acknowledge. We'll ease our body out of this pose slowly, so take your time. And we'll just roll our support off to the side and gently make our way back onto our belly. So we can bring the legs together, roll back onto the tummy, and we'll slide the right knee out to the right side into our half frog position. Maybe supporting your head with your hands or a pillow. And try to allow your body to soften into the earth as best it can. Make sure your needs are met in this position as we're holding it for a little bit of time. And then play with the awareness of what rises up for you in this moment. And that will keep evolving and keep changing. If you do have something that's constant, it may feel constant, but our mind is still darting all over the place. We might keep coming back to one or two, a few things. But everything will ebb and flow. Let's take a final breath here together. Nice slow inhale and an exhale. We'll come back onto the forearms just gently to begin with. Now, remember, I'm going to try and be articulate. Right hand into the floor. Right leg goes back and left leg goes forward. So we're now going to push our body up so we're on that left hip. Legs can be staggered out into this kind of hurdle shape, and we can draw our pillow in close to our left hip. Now remember, you can bring your knees closer together if you need a little bit more kind of space inward, or you can take them back a little further if you want a little bit more of a twist into the lower back and into the hip. Hands will go either side of your support, so go for a position that you know is going to feel quite comfortable and releasing. We can work our way down. If you need any extra layers, any extra support, then take it. Your head might turn away from your knees, towards your knees, or I'm going to bring my head straight down. Again, trying not to crush the microphone. And then here we are, we're here. What does that feel like? What rises up for you? Where does it arise? And we're just asking the mind to follow a few moments at a time. Following what shows itself to us. And it might be as fast as a lightning bolt strike, and then it fizzles away. We might not even have time to really understand the feelings, the sensations, the thoughts. We don't even need to. Or we might actually discover things become more clear when we slow down and we experience ourselves in a very different way to when we're having to be out in the world with others. And if it might feel all a bit philosophical and deep for you right now, you can simply just acknowledge the tiny, simple experiences, the breath, the comfort, the stretching. It doesn't have to be anything massive. We don't have to have this great revelation. We're just noticing all the things that move and shift and change in the moment that we're in. Now easing out slowly. Take your time. We're going to bring our legs forward, and we can keep our bolster or our pillow, and maybe just bring that underneath our knees and bring the soles of the feet together. Now, not everyone loves lying down through these poses, or folding forward, sorry. So if you want to lean up against a wall, a sofa, a lucky me, a warm radiator, so you have that ability to sit upright if you want that. It might just be that your sinuses feel blocked. It might just be that actually you've been lying down and you want to sit up. Knees can be as open as they want to be, and if you think, I don't really want the pillow, I want to feel a stretch in my hips, take that. If you do want to fold forward, let your body drape over the legs, the feet, wherever that goes. But remind yourself there is no pose we're trying to achieve. Just because you might be more flexible doesn't mean you're a better yoga practitioner, okay? Just because you might be stiff doesn't mean you can't practice yoga. I think that moving away from yoga being only about flexibility of our body and actually bringing it into being aware of our bodies, thinking not just the physical body but all the things we've discussed today, that's where the practice then evolves into something other than stretching. And it's okay if you just want to be here and stretch. That is also fine. But you have an opportunity to take the practice a little bit deeper for yourself and use it as a space to become more curious of all the things that you might be experiencing in this moment. Making choices for yourself rather than always being told what to feel and where to feel it. Now, whether we've folded forward or we've stayed sat upright, we will come back to our mat, so you can curl up slowly, or you might not have moved anywhere away from your mat. I wanted to have a sneaky heating moment with the radiator. Now, the legs can go out long, so you can keep them on your support so that you have that comfort for your lower back as we're going to come into our Shavasana, our final resting position. That's that moment when I realise I've left my blanket all the way over here and I'm definitely going to need it. So grab hold of a comfortable blanket, a pillow if it's required. Apparently I'm really enjoying just being grey at the moment. It's not a reflection of the grey British sky, I promise. So get nice and cosy, wrap up nice and warm. If you're quite warm, wherever you might be, you can also just lie out and allow your body to expand and cool down. And then just softening in. You don't need to focus now. This is our rest. So all that awareness we might have been kind of guiding our mind towards, just let it all disappear. We don't have to follow anything specifically. Create freedom as best you can in your mind and your body so that we can rest for a couple of minutes together. And I will awaken you in about 3 minutes' time. If you would like to stay here for longer, then you're more than welcome to stay until your body invites you to move. If you're ready to take movements, then you might wiggle fingers and toes. Oh, you might need a big stretch, maybe a yawn. Perhaps a sigh, softening back into the ground. Guiding the knees maybe into the chest and allowing there to be a little rock from side to side. And we can allow our bodies to roll to the left or the right side and wait here for a moment before we lift up. So acclimatize. And we'll come back to a comfortable seated position, if that means sitting back onto your cushion, your bolster, your support. And we'll close off our session together. So inhaling to raise the arms up, take a nice slow breath as the arms will join together at the sky. And as we exhale, just drift the palms down towards the heart center. Bowing your head forward to thank yourself for creating space and time out of your day to contemplate the experiences we have in each moment. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. Well done, everyone.